Y'all want to know how I know that CNN is a shit trash media site or journalist or news organization, whatever you want to call them? I don't know if you guys have heard about what's going on with Eric Swalwell. I like to call him Eric Swallow as well. But there's allegations that he has done some horrific things to unknowing and unwillingly participating women, okay? But CNN put out a headline with his picture. For those of you who don't know, this is what Eric Swalwell looks like. He looks like a raging douchebag, right? But this is the CNN headline. And I want you guys to really focus on what this says. It says, 4 women describe sexual misconduct by Rep. Eric Swalwell, including a former staffer who says he raped her. You want to say, describe sexual misconduct and then put the whole raping situation on the bottom like it's not the most important part out of all of it. I would consider that way bigger than sexual misconduct personally, but they like to tone things down for, you know, their base, their demographic, their people being Democrats. So that's how CNN wanted to phrase that. Now, Eric Swalwell has been in the race for governor in California because, you know, Gavin Newsom, he's about to be, you know, suited and booted. He's done. He's not going to be governor again. So there's been this big race on who's going to be governor. And Eric Swalwell has actually been the forerunner, the lead runner, the whatever you want to call it, for the Democrat Party when it comes to the possible next governor of California, which I didn't really think you could do worse than Gavin Newsom until I realized who Eric Swalwell is. And I was like, oh, this is literally going from bad to worse. Now, what's interesting is Eric Swalwell, he grew up as a Republican. His parents were Republican. And then one day he decided he was going to be a Democrat instead. And I think it's because he realized he just has that face of a douchebag and he has that personality of a douchebag, and that being a Democrat really fit that whole persona a lot more, especially now that we're hearing about all the sexual misconduct and the rapes and the whatnot. That goes along more to the Democrat side, in my personal opinion as well. But I wanted to give you guys just a little background on who he is and what he's done leading up till now. And then we'll get into the actual allegations and the video footage that corroborates said allegations in just a second. So he is a 45-year-old man. He's a year older than me. I think I carry my age a little bit better than he does. He looks a little worn in my personal opinion, but anyway. He is from California. Well, technically he was born in Iowa, but he grew up in California, right? And he, he went to his first in his family to attend college. He got a BA from the University of Maryland, a JD from the University of Maryland School of Law. He worked as a prosecutor and deputy district attorney in Alameda County in California, 2006-2012. He also served on the Dublin County, or the Dublin City Council from 2010 to 2012. Then in 2012, he became the California's 15th district representative, right? 2013 through 2023. Now he's with the 14th district from 2023 until now, maybe stops now, who knows, which is, you know, the East Bay, basically Dublin, Castro Valley, and Eastern Alameda County. He served on the House Intelligence Committee, which is interesting to me, including as a leader overseeing the CIA. That man doesn't look smart enough to know how to tie his shoes correctly without having to sing the bunny goes through the hoop song or however it goes, right? Or maybe he wears Velcro shoes. I feel like that's probably more accurate. He was on the House Judiciary Committee. He was part of Homeland Security Committee. He was one of the House managers in Donald Trump's first impeachment trial in 2021. So already, you know, there's a reason to dislike him because he's obviously a tool. He also founded the Future Forum, which is a group focused on issues for younger Americans, whatever the shit that means, but okay. And then he's serving in the House. Next election is now 2026, right? He is married with children and lives in the East Bay. Now, people are obviously putting up his wife and children right now, asking, you know, if they knew what was going on with him and the things that he was doing. I personally don't think that his wife and children or child, I don't know if it's more than one, should be dragged into this because they are innocent victims of whatever trash that man has done. And the wife, unless she knew about it and didn't say anything, she doesn't deserve to be dragged into this. But here's the current situation going on. He was accused by a former staffer of sexually assaulting her twice when she was too intoxicated to consent, once in 2019 while she worked for him, and again in 2024 after she had left his office. She described one incident as rape, claiming it left her bruised and bleeding, which I believe was the first one that she claimed that on. CNN reported 3 additional women alleging various forms of misconduct, including unwanted advances, intoxicated encounters, and Swalwell sending unsolicited explicit messages or nude photos. So basically, little man dick pics, I'm sure, went through. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office today has opened an investigation into at least one of the sexual assault allegations, which was involving a New York hotel room incident. So although he's in California, one of the incidences allegedly occurred in a New York City hotel. So therefore, New York City is getting into this. So the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is looking into it. And then Swalwell is denying, and I'll show you his video. I will show you his video that he posted on Instagram, basically begging and pleading people to believe that he did nothing. Tell me when you watch this man's video that you don't immediately get the ick from him. Number one, all these videos I'm about to show you, you're going to get that weird ick feeling like, ugh, right? And then it kind of gives you honestly, the feeling that in order to have a woman touch him, he probably did need to either get her highly intoxicated or do something horrific to her. I'm not sure why his wife is where she is, but that's not my place to say anything. But the fallout from this, it's been what, 48 hours? Yes, today's Saturday. The allegations came out, I believe, on Thursday. Yesterday, shit hit the fan all the way. Today, it's still, trickling down from the fan, falling all over him and numerous other people. But I want to point out to you guys how incredibly orchestrated this all seems. And you can say to yourself, okay, well, is it orchestrated to take him out of the race because they didn't want him being the one in there? They wanted a different Democrat, which I believe her name is Katie something or other. Did they want her to win? So they needed to get him out of there. And this is the easiest way to do it. Or do the Democrats just hold on to blackmail material, and when the time is right, they just release all that shit? Because a lot of people are saying this is too convenient timing and too orchestrated, and too many Democrats jumping on social media like, immediately one after another, condemning him and taking away their support for it to be real. A lot of people are saying that it's not real because of how quickly the Democrats have reacted. But my thought process is, it's probably real and they all knew about it. And then one thing leaked and they were like, oh shit, go ahead and fan the flames and get it over with. And so all the stuff they knew and they've been holding on to, and they just threw that out into the world to really just destroy this man, as he should be. If these allegations are correct, he should 100% be destroyed. So I'm going to show you guys, and we're going to talk about some things that have come out, and you tell me if you think this is something that actually happened, or if you think this is all orchestrated, or it could be something that happened and was orchestrated to take him out because they knew it happened, right? Like, I'm just curious what you guys are going to think. So this is the first thing I want to show you guys, is that in 2022, Eric Swalwell, this is him, helped campaign for this man who believes he's a woman to become, they were the first, New Hampshire's first transgender elected rep, Stacey Lawton, pleaded guilty. This is what's even crazier. So Eric Swalwell was he campaigned with this Stacey Lawton, the dude dressed up as a woman, campaigned with him in 2022, trying to get him elected, right? And then it turns out that the Stacey Lawton person ended up being charged with child exploitation charges, because this is the same person that asked their significant other, which was a dude, I believe, who worked at a daycare, to send him, dressed as a her, pictures of naked children. Okay, because again, if you are transgender, there's clearly something mentally wrong with you. And a lot of times it turns out this shit happens. They're some sort of child molester, or they go shoot up schools or businesses. I've never met any, let me rephrase that. I've yet to see ones that haven't had some sort of severe mental illness. Because I mean, the first step of the severe mental illness is thinking that you're the opposite sex. That in and of itself is severe mental illness. But a lot of them have gone on to do horrific things like this. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? So Swalwell campaigned with this man dressed as a woman, which, number one, should tell you enough about Eric Swalwell, right? But wait, there's more. There is a video that has come out. Now, I want to show you guys this video. We don't need audio to it because audio isn't important, but I want to show you this video. All right. And this video was just leaked today. Okay. And in theory, this is Eric Swalwell grabbing onto this woman. There's a woman on the bed. There's another dude there. You can't see because of this note here, but there's another dude on the bed that's groping her from the other side. Some blonde chick pops out from the back behind Eric Swalwell, where I'm guessing the bathroom is, or the door. It's over, like she comes out here behind him by this mirror. And there's obviously somebody recording as well. So there's numerous people in this room. And it's very interesting because I asked Grok, because y'all know I don't want to show you stuff that's not real. So I tried to find out if this stuff is real or not, this video. And because if you send links of videos to Grok, because Grok is AI, it has a much better chance of being able to tell if a video has been altered, if it has been, if it's AI altogether, if there's any alterations that have been made to it, or if it's real. And according to this, there's no independent verification yet. So no mainstream news outlet, Swalwell's team, or the women involved have confirmed the video's origin, location, participants, or chain of custody, okay? Which is important to know. This is, nothing has been publicly shared or corroborated by third parties in real time saying if this is real or not. The clip looks realistic with visual movement, natural movement, lighting, and no obvious AI artifacts like warping, unnatural blinking, or audio desync visible in low-res social media views. However, current AI video tools can produce near indistinguishable results, especially for short clips, so eyes alone aren't reliable. And of course, a lot of people are saying that it is AI because of the timing of it, which also makes it suspicious because it fits the current scandal cycle, Swalwell running for California governor. These stories broke in the last 1 to 2 days, which raises questions about authenticity or selective editing and leak. So I'm showing it to you guys just to say it is not a verified video, but it will be all over social media for the next 24 to 48 hours because it looks so incredibly damning. Also, I don't put it past the man that this is a real video, but even if it's real, we don't know that there's anything unwarranted. Nope. We don't know that there's anything wrong that happened there, right? Because that could have been fully consensual, 100%. That could have been, two dudes and a chick getting their rocks off, and that's what they were into. Some people are saying that that was a paid for female, and so was the blonde that pops out in the back later on, that they were paid for women, so they're basically prostitutes. Therefore, it was more of a consensual thing because money exchanged hands. But again, there's been no confirmation, and I want you guys to know that. I think the video is real based off how it looks, because I've watched this man's videos and him on his own Instagram and on X and seen the way he moves and the way he talks, and it looks realistic to me. But the female to me also looks like she is inebriated. So I don't know that you can really make fully conscious decisions sexually like that if you are inebriated. So I'm putting it out there like that for you guys. Now, the other thing that came out in the last couple hours, it says here, this is from the New York Post, all right? Eric Swalwell paid a legal Brazilian live-in nanny under the table with campaign funds, which is now what this complaint is alleging. So this was their Brazilian nanny, all right? And that is, Eric and his wife and kids. So I guess there's 3 kids and the Brazilian nanny. And they're saying that he used campaign funds and paid her cash under the table because she's illegal. It's not like he could just give her a 1099 or a W-2, although that's probably why the Democrats don't want illegal immigrants being shipped back out, because they like boinking their nannies, or because it's cheaper to pay them cash under the table than to pay an actual American citizen correctly through a 1099 or a W-2. But anyway, so that's another thing that has come out. That one I'm pretty sure probably has sticking power. There will be evidence that would back that one up more so than some of these other things. But this is what's happening here. So senior staffers from both Eric Swalwell's congressional office and gubernatorial campaign have released a statement condemning Swalwell, all right, his own people. It says here, the behavior detailed in these reports is abhorrent, beneath the dignity of these serving in public office, and betrays the trust of all Californians. Any decision of staff members to remain in their roles in the interim should not be viewed as support of Eric Swalwell. We, more than Swalwell, understand that we have obligations to the people we lead and to the constituents of California's 14th congressional district. And this was signed off by senior staff, Office of California's 14th congressional district, and senior staff Eric Swalwell for governor 2026, the staff for him. Now, I think it's important to note that this makes sense to me for them to put out this statement, because a lot of times when things like this happen, the people that work for him are also going to be dragged for being there and being part of the team. But Democrat or Republican or independent, they still have their jobs to do and the people of California to take care of. So I fully understand them being like, hey, listen, we don't agree with what he's allegedly done. We don't want you to think that, we back him, but we need to stay with our jobs because it's important for our district. I understand that and I'm okay with that. If every single one of them left, that would hurt their district. And that's not fair to those people who didn't do anything except for, unfortunately, elect a douchebag into the seat there. So that's one thing that's happened. On top of that, you have, what's his name? Hold on. What's the guy's name? I got it here. So Ruben Gallego, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. I'm really bad with names. He says, I've read the San Francisco Chronicle's reporting, and I take it seriously. What is described as indefensible. Women who come forward with accounts like this deserve to be heard with respect, not questioned or dismissed. I regret having to come to his defense on social media prior to knowing all the information. I'm equally as shocked and upset about what has transpired. I am withdrawing my endorsement of Congressman Swalwell effective immediately. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ruben Gallego, or whatever you say, he's a senator from Arizona, all right? This is him here, if I can pull up his picture. This is him. He's a senator from, like I said, Arizona. And he was he served in the Iraq War. He's Hispanic Latino. He's, father, got 3 kids, all this other stuff. And then, excuse me, he has a wife, not a husband. So that's always a plus. Obviously a Democrat because big fan of Hillary Clinton and whatnot. And I don't know a single Republican that loves Hillary Clinton. So there's that. But what's interesting is that literally right before all of this, there's a video of Eric Swalwell. Let me just show this to you guys, let you hear the volume here, because I think it's important to hear what Swalwell says about that man.
Tonight you get to meet my best friend in the world, Ruben Gallego.
His best friend in the world. So previously, just months ago, Swalwell considered this man his best friend in the world. And now there's allegations that have come out. And this Ruben, what's his name? How do I say it? Ruben Gallego is now completely taking away his endorsement of Swalwell. So that means to me, either number one, he knows that Swalwell is guilty because he's either seen or heard or been talked to by Swalwell about these things, or he knows him well enough to know that there could be truth to these allegations, because there's no reason why he should have to come out and just be like, hey, I'm taking away my endorsement, especially because Swalwell has not been found guilty by anybody at all. I mean, allegations have come out, but again, if you look at the timing, a lot of people are saying the timing is suspicious. They brought out a bunch of fake allegations against Trump, right? So you're going to have people going, well, these are fake allegations against Swalwell. There isn't any confirmation of anything yet. And yet you have Adam Schiff pulling back. You have Hakeem Jeffries pulling back. You have this Ruben Gallego guy. You have Nancy Pelosi speaking on it. Basically, the Democrats just rapid firing their distrust and distaste in Swalwell is very telling to me. I am very curious if at some point in time they tried to get Swalwell on their team or side to do something specific if he became governor and he shot them down. And so they're like, all right, well then guess what? You're not going to be governor, my guy. And they went to this Katie, whatever her name is, and talked to her. And she was like, sure, I wear Batman costumes to Congress meetings. Might as well do whatever the hell you tell me to. I'll be your paid puppet. And so they're doing what they can to push him out and maybe possibly bring her in. It's just a thought that I had. So then, but y'all, please hold. I got more. So this is from Colin Rugg. This came out yesterday. I can't see what time it is. This came out yesterday. And he says, Senators Adam Schiff and Ruben Gallego, which we've already talked about, have both withdrawn their endorsements of Eric Swalwell after a sexual assault allegation came out against California gubernatorial candidate. What it described as indefensible. Women who come forward with accounts like this deserve to be heard with respect, not questioned or dismissed. That's what Gallego said. And then, I am equally shocked and upset about what has transpired. I'm withdrawing my endorsement of Congressman Swalwell effective immediately. And then Schiff also withdrew his endorsement. He said, I have read the San Francisco Chronicle's account and deeply distressed by the allegations. This woman was brave to come forward and we should take her story seriously. This is according to Schiff. I am withdrawing my endorsement immediately and believe that he should withdraw from the race. Now, here's what's interesting to me. I'm going to read you what Hakeem Jeffries had to say too, and then I'm going to tell you the very, very interesting part in my personal opinion. So this is from Hakeem Jeffries, okay? And it says, statement by Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark and Chair Aguilar on accusations against Representative Eric Swalwell. Following the incredibly disturbing sexual assault accusations against Congressman Eric Swalwell, we call for a swift investigation into these incidents and for the congressman to immediately end his campaign to be California's next governor. This is unacceptable of anyone, certainly not an elected official, and must be taken seriously. We commend the courageous women for sharing their experiences. In this and all circumstances, we must ensure that those who come forward with allegations of sexual assault and harassment are heard and respected. All perpetrators of sexual assault and harassment must be held accountable. Now, what's interesting is, generally speaking, they would not agree with that. They would, against their own, they would not put out statements like this. They would pretend like it wasn't happening, hush it up, shove it under the rug, whatever else. When people came out and talked positively about President Trump and said he's never laid a hand on me, they tried to say that these women were lying and didn't know what they were talking about and just couldn't remember being sexually assaulted by the president. It's like, are you batshit, or what is going on here? But what I find very interesting amongst Schiff, amongst Hakeem Jeffries, I didn't save Pelosi's for some weird reason. I don't know what I did with hers. Pelosi, all of them, they're all saying he needs to drop out of the governor race. At no point in time have they said his ass needs to be thrown in a jail cell while they look into stuff. At no point in time have they said he needs to step down from his seat in Congress. None of these things. They haven't said any of that. All they said was, oh, you need to not be governor or whatever else, or not Congress, but step down from his seat in his district. Yeah, they haven't said any of that. They just said, you should probably not run for governor anymore, which lets me know, personally, my thought that this was a planned attack on Swalwell to get him out of the race. Not saying that these things aren't true. I just think that they probably knew about them, held on to them, saved them as blackmail. And when they couldn't get him to do their bidding, they said, release the dogs, release the hounds, whatever, and, let it fly. And this is what happens. This is even crazier to me. Look, hold on. This is what's even crazier. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So they haven't urged him to leave anything else, just that. Now, Greg Kelly, you guys have heard of Greg Kelly before. He posted this. Okay. He says, I never liked Eric Swalwell. Fang, because remember, he was the one who was also, I think, sleeping with or having the affair with the Chinese spy, the whatever. Anyway, Fang running for president when he was 19 to moonlighting as a model for a Sears catalog. He's just awful. But when someone is accused by an anonymous person the week before an election, that is not right. They say the assault happened in 2024. 2 years ago, why not go to the cops right after it happened? And don't give me that I couldn't, he's too powerful nonsense. They pulled the crap on Trump. It was wrong then, it's wrong now, even when it involves silly Eric Swalwell. And then he says justice in capital letters. Now, I would also like to point out that the same female that says that she was assaulted in 18 or 19, was then for some reason in his presence again in 2024 for it to happen a second time. As a female who has my own past, which we will not get into, I can tell you that I would never be around the same person again that assaulted me the first time. I would quit going anywhere that person was, right? So that also, I think, gives a little bit of a wrinkle of doubt for the woman's story. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong. I'm just saying me personally would not be in the same place. However, if you're looking at the fact that she was on his staff in 2019 and possibly in the same area with him in 2024, whether she was on his staff or somebody else's, sometimes it's almost impossible not to cross paths with somebody. So we're going to put that out there like that, right? But Greg Kelly, I thought was interesting because of the way he phrased it. And I wasn't sure how people feel about Greg Kelly. And so I started looking through some stuff. And on April 5th of this year, Greg Kelly posted, everyone is so horrified at President Trump and his language. Give me a break. This is the way people talk. Get over it. It's barely lunchtime and I've heard the F word on the streets of NYC a dozen times. Trump is keeping it real. We are going to win. And this was based off of Trump's post on True Social about Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing, but he said, the whole thing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. But what's interesting is that in 2022, Greg Kelly says, these are his words, I frown upon offensive vulgarity. I favor a ban voluntarily on the F word. Should only be uttered in private and in certain situations, never in public. But he changed his mind when President Trump said it, which, a little wishy-washy if you ask me, but I can also sort of understand it because sometimes the word is warranted. Y'all know I use it sometimes over here because it's the best one I can come up with in certain situations or when I'm in a whatever kind of mood. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because Greg Kelly pointing out that the timing of it is suspicious is one thing. Now, this is the exclusive former staffer that said Eric Swalwell raped her, and she was on CNN, like immediately on CNN. The news dropped, and there she was ready to have a story. And it says here, CNN interviews a woman who alleges she was raped by Representative Eric Swalwell, who is running for governor of California. She says that they were at a bar and she got up to use the bathroom and that her memory of what happened from that point on is mostly gone. She says she woke up the next morning naked and alone in a hotel room, which she says she didn't even realize was his hotel room at the time. She says she had some flashes of what happened and she remembers him grabbing her and telling him no, and that he was very aggressive. Now, nothing in here says that he did anything to her. It's a remembering that doesn't remember actual assault. So I think those things are important to keep in mind, right? But we'll listen to just a little bit of what she had to say.
I decided to ask him to meet me for a drink. And I did this because I was so far removed from what had happened in 2019. I felt safe because I was established. I had a partner. I felt more secure that I could have a strictly professional relationship with this person. After that bar closed, we went to another. I went to the bathroom and I don't remember anything after that.
You don't remember anything?
I remember the next day, I can see flashes of that evening of him on top of me pushing him off, him grabbing me. It was a lot more aggressive. It was aggressive.
Did you say no?
Yes, I said no. In my flash that I can recall, I was pushing him off of me saying no.
And what did he do?
He didn't stop.
He didn't stop. And you woke up the next morning?
I woke up the next morning naked, alone in his hotel room. I, for a moment, didn't even know I was in his hotel room. That's how intoxicated I was. And I called my mom, the only person I could think that could help me.
Now, I'm going to say the questions that everybody else is going to say. Was she so intoxicated or was she drugged? Like that's a legit difference. Like intoxicated versus drugged, completely different. And then to say that because she had a boyfriend, she felt safe around the same person that in theory assaulted her a few years before. I don't understand that part. Again, I'm not saying that this woman is lying. I'm just saying a lot of it doesn't make sense to me personally, right? I myself have been in a situation of blacking out because I think somebody put something in a drink of mine at a hotel in Atlanta. I was with my husband. I was with friends. There was a group of us. And next thing I know, I'm in the emergency room because an ambulance took me there. It turns out one of our friends walked to the bathroom with me. And when they got done using the bathroom, the men's restroom, I still hadn't come out of the women's restroom. They knocked on the door. There was no answer. They pushed open the door and I was just laid out in the floor. Now, I had not had that many drinks. I'd had maybe 3 drinks throughout a couple hours. There's no reason I should have been literally blacked out. Never before in my life, never since. It makes no sense whatsoever. And so I was taken to the hospital from the hotel, an ambulance and everything else. But you never know what bartenders are doing or if whoever's bringing you your drink, or I was walking around. Somebody could have slipped something in my drink while walking around. Anything is possible, right? So the next morning, or when I woke up in the hospital, I didn't think to myself, oh, I'm so drunk. I thought to myself, who slipped something in my drink? Like it made absolutely no sense, right? My husband, we were in, I believe it was Tulum or Cancun area. We were at a all-you-can-whatever resort, like all-inclusive resort. And we were out at one of their nightly events that they do. And I ordered a margarita and my husband ordered a margarita. And he knocked his over. So I gave him mine. I ordered a different drink because I didn't really want the margarita. I gave him mine. One drink later, he can barely keep his eyes open and his body is going limp. And I had to basically drag him back to our room and put him in bed and then lock and barricade all the doors because I knew then that something was wrong. One drink should not do that to a grown ass man unless somebody had put something in it. And once again, you don't know what your bartenders are doing. You don't know what the people serving your drinks are doing. And I say that to say, we don't know that if something was put into her drink, that it was Swalwell. It could have been literally anybody else if she left her drink unattended at the bar. We see videos of this stuff happening all the time on social media, which is why there's those companies out there that make the drink covers that slip over your drink, that make the straw toppers that go on top of your straw, that tell you, ladies, do not accept drinks from strangers. Fellas too, don't accept drink from strangers. Keep your hands over your drink. Take it with you wherever you go. Don't leave it at the bar or your table unattended or without, not with somebody you trust, which again, the whole trust factor, who do you really trust, right? But so this is the same woman who said in 2019 that Swalwell did something to her and that she felt safer because she had a boyfriend now who obviously wasn't with her. And so she decided to ask the same guy that had supposedly done something to her in 2019 if he wanted to get a drink with her in 2024. I personally myself find that off and weird. I am not saying that she is not a victim. I'm just saying certain things sound weird to me, but people make dumb decisions all the time. So that is, possible. Adam Schiff. Now, here's what's very interesting. Nick Sorter has come out with this video and he tagged Eric Swalwell in this over on X. And it says, I know you have me blocked after my video of you dropped, but you'll see this anyway. I wonder what will happen if I soon publish a recording of you admitting to illegally pushing to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot as F, letting lobbyists get you drunk off your ass at a DC restaurant, and then you asking them to help you find a woman to cheat on your wife with because you only fuck tens. Will it help or hurt your numbers in California? Are the voters as deviant like you are? We may find out in a few days if you're still in the race and haven't dropped out. And so according to Nick Sorter, this is his phone. We don't need audio. Oh, this is Nick Sorter saying this is his phone right here that he had propped up, that he was sitting at a table next to Eric Swalwell. And so he started recording him over there having these conversations. It's kind of hard to hear the words. But so that's Nick Sorter with that video, right? Now, what's interesting is that the video that he's referring to that he dropped before that is this one here, where this was spent dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored of his wife and only wants to F10s. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power on the House Intel Committee, which he's since been booted off of, saying he pushes subpoena Ivanka Trump. This guy must be removed from Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude looked absolutely terrified and 100% guilty. He knows he's been caught. Now, this video is from February 2025. It's about a minute long, and we're just going to take a little look-see at it. Listen.
You referred to Elon Musk as a fascist at some point and alerted him being a national security threat. Do you see that more of a national security threat, you sleeping with a Chinese spy?
Feng.
Than transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Feng think of that? What are you doing? This is ridiculous.
Nothing's happening.
What's fascistic about exposing government corruption? I mean, I know you're just at dinner now with a bunch of lobbyists. They're buying you a bunch of booze, and that's awfully nice. I know you were talking about maybe finding somebody else because you only like to fuck people that are tens. I just heard that one too. So what do you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of it? Elon Musk is a national security threat, but you sleeping with a Chinese spy is not. Is that correct? You don't want to comment on that at all? Looks like guilty as charged.
Look, Nick Sorter, he has cojones because he's like, I will follow you around. I'll put this phone in your face. I'm going to ask you these questions. I don't care how uncomfortable you get. And he asked him, and then Swalwell blocked him on social media, which to me, says enough. But what's interesting is I want to play this. This is Eric Swalwell himself. This is the video that he put out, basically calling all the women liars and that everything is not real and he's an innocent douchebag looking person. But listen to what Swalwell had to say.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations, and I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened, and I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. I also apologize to you if in any way you've doubted your support for me. But I think you know who I am. For over 20 years, I have served the public. As a city councilman, as a member of Congress, and as a prosecutor who went to court on behalf of victims, particularly on behalf of sexual assault victims.
So you knew what to get away with.
That's who I am and have always been. This weekend, I'm going to spend time with my family and friends. And I appreciate those who have reached out to me to show support. And I look forward to updating you very soon.
What's interesting to me, and this may just be me, but he says that all of these allegations are false, right? And then he says he apologized to his wife for putting her through this. Well, if you didn't do it, then you're not putting her through this, right? Like those are your words. And remember, words matter. So when you say putting my wife through this, that sounds to me like a small little admission of guilt, Mr. Swalwell. That personally, that's how I heard it. When you say you are putting her through this, if you didn't do anything, it would be the media putting her through this. It would be the false finger pointers putting her through this. But when you say for me putting her through this, ooh, do you realize you just kind of sort of admitted to being guilty of what you're being accused of? Like that's how I heard. We want to just listen one more time. Make sure I didn't hear it wrong. I don't know how far back to go, so we're just gonna.
I apologize deeply for putting her in this position.
Hold on, that's where we go. Wait.
It's between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. I also apologize to you.
I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. Well, you couldn't have put her in that position if you didn't do anything. So therefore, Eric, good old Eric, I have to assume that is your admission of accidental admission of guilt. Number one, when he was in the very beginning, we're not going to play it, but when he points to himself, I swear in the little script that he was reading, it said point to self because he did it in such a weird way. Point to self. I was like, you're such a douchebag. Like he looks like such a douchebag, but that is his entire video trying to, not apologize, but try to say that he's innocent, although he did take full responsibility there, in my opinion. But what's funny is in 2018, it was Believe All Survivors. That's his post, #Believe Survivors. And then now, 2026, they're all liars. Which one is it, Eric? Do you believe all survivors or are they liars? You cannot have it both ways, honey boo-boo. That's not how it works. Now, Jesus Enrique Rosas, the body language guy, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him over on X, he posted this, and I just want to read it to you because I think it's important that we look at it from this perspective, okay? He says, Eric Swalwell was the front runner for California governor on Thursday. By Friday night, his campaign chair had resigned. His fundraising page was dead. Adam Schiff was pretending they'd never met, and Nancy Pelosi was speaking about him in past tense, like basically he had died, right? The man went from a party standard bearer to we don't know who this guy is faster than a Snapchat message disappearing from his phone. The official story is that multiple women came forward with serious allegations and the party responded swiftly, which, okay, sure, except the word swiftly pretty much undersells it because the Democrats party reaction looked like detonating a controlled demolition they'd already wired. 9/11. Every endorsement pulled in the same news cycle, every statement using the same language, every union, every ally, every surrogate, all reading from the same script that apparently materialized from thin air on a Friday afternoon. You guys will remember Adam Schiff's words, that Ruben Gallego guy and Hakeem Jeffries all basically said the exact same thing word for word with a little tweaks in the middle so it didn't sound like they just hit copy and paste, right? You know what's funny? When Tara Reid accused Joe Biden of the same thing, the entire Democratic apparatus spent months explaining why believing women is more nuanced than it sounds. Biden stayed in, won the nomination, won the presidency. Why? Because Biden was a useful idiot. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Swalwell's not useful because he's not going to do their bidding. Biden would do whatever, right? He had Obama's hand up his ass to his elbow. He pretty much had no choice. Swalwell was not useful. Swalwell was a problem. 8 Democrats splitting the vote in California's top 2 primary means 2 Republicans could lock Democrats out of the general. The Steve Hilton is polling at 22%. The math was bad. Swalwell was told to leave. He said no. And then by extraordinary coincidence, every institutional support system in his political life collapsed simultaneously. Totally coincidental, right? They said they did this to Bernie in 2016. They did it to Crockett in Texas. So I don't buy the Swalwell is a white dude argument either. Since the blue party does not have voters, it must rely on a plan. And if you happen to be standing where the plan needs to go, they will move you. Joe Biden, remember taking him off the presidential ballot and plopping Kamala Harris's drunk ass on it. The allegations might be true. They might not be. It doesn't matter. The point, which I do think it matters if the allegations are true, personally. The point is the party didn't wait to find out because the point was never the allegations. The point was power, which is what I've been trying to say this whole time. They don't care if this man did horrific things to these women. They don't care if he didn't do horrific things to these women. They like the fact that they were able to throw this out here to boot him out so that he's not going to be the holdup or the reason why Republicans end up taking any sort of power. So I fully believe this is all orchestrated. Whether any of it's real or not, we will have to wait and see it within the allegations. But I do believe that the Democrats worked together to get this done. And now Katie Porter, that's her name, she's now the leading Democrat for the governor's race in California. And this is Katie Porter. If you guys don't remember, she wore the Batman costume to one of the Congress hearings. I don't even remember what this was for. All I know is Batman or Batshit, because that is crazy to me. But she's the leading one for the Democrats right now in the governor's race for California. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next couple of days. If Swalwell gets hauled into jail in handcuffs, if anything happens, or if this suddenly just goes poof, be gone after the governor race, and he's dropped out or booted out or doesn't get any votes whatsoever, because technically he can still run. They're asking him to drop out, but he can still run unless, of course, there is enough evidence to charge him and haul his ass into jail for these allegations. I've given myself hiccups because I talk too much. So, like I said, the next couple days will be very telling for the Democrats of California and for Swalwell himself, and unfortunately for his wife and kids, right? This guy, I always thought he was gay. That's why I call him Eric Swalwell. I didn't think that any of these videos would be a him and a woman. I figured it'd be him and some dudes because he looks like that kind of guy. But I just figured that would be the thing. But what do I know, right? So we'll wait and see what's happening there. But I wanted to bring it to your attention for all the things that if you hadn't seen it, this way you have an idea of exactly what is going on. And here's the video I want to show you. This is the one that has the other guy in it too. So this is him and the girl and the guy, and then some blonde chick like pops out. Where's the blonde chick? There she is. You see her? Some blonde chick pops out. So there's more to the video. I don't know who's recording it, but that definitely looks like Swalwell to me. And it's just, it's not looking good for the man. I'll just put it to you like that. So I would love your thoughts in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, good, bad, whatever. I want to know what you think about the whole entire situation here. I'm not asking for your opinion really if the women are making things up or not, but if you want to put that in there, that's fine. But I do want to know what you think about Swalwell because I think he's trash personally. Whatever. That's all. I love y'all. Goodbye.